Good afternoon. Going to pick up with video 2 and talk about some more species interactions as we complete, the chapter on coevolution. So let's pick up with the most beneficial association called a mutualism, where each individual in this association benefits. So this type of interaction can be very specific, an obligate mutualism, as in a lichen, where a lichen is a fungus and an alga that live together and form a lichen body. The fungus provides a shelter for the alga and a source of water and minerals. The alga, by photosynthesis, provides food for the fungus and itself. Other mutualisms can be general. Think animals pollinating flowers or animals dispersing seeds. That's a very general type of mutualism. Another type of general mutualism is feeding stations on coral reefs, where fish, predators if you will, come and allow prey animals like smaller fish or even shrimp. They allow these smaller animals to clean parasites from their mouth and gills. That's a fairly general type of mutualism, where a cleaner shrimp could potentially remove parasites from a number of different species of fish, not just the moray eel. It's not a very specific mutualism, it's more general. Okay. So mutualism is a very beneficial association between both individuals or species in the interaction. A commensalism is another form of interaction where one benefits and the other is not harmed. The effect on it is considered neutral, so a plus and a zero. In the illustration here, the horse, perhaps if anything, is annoyed, but there's no real harm to the horse. But the horse helps to disturb insects. Perhaps the insects jump, move, and that movement is noted by these cattle egrets, and it provides them with an easier food source. It enables them to catch food, maybe grasshoppers, crickets, other insects in the grass, a little bit easier. So a commensalism. One benefits, but the other is not harmed. The shell that the hermit crab is living in came from a type of animal called a mollusk, in particular a gastropod mollusk or a snail. The snail has long died. This shell has maybe washed around on the ocean floor. The hermit crab finds the shell. It is able to fit within the shell. It coils up in the shell and uses it for a home. So the crab benefits. It would otherwise be much an easier prey for predator organisms, but the hermit crab gets a home inside the shell. The gastropod, the snail, if you will, is not harmed in any way because it has long died, and it's not present in the shell. It was not removed from the shell by the hermit crab. We'll spend the rest of this particular video talking about predation and the effects of predation on the organisms involved. So there are other ways to think of predation other than it benefiting the predator and harming the prey. A predator population can be damaged. Let's say a predator is injured while trying to catch prey. Maybe the injury becomes infected. Maybe it harms the speed of the predator and makes catching prey more difficult. Or an infection spreads, becomes septic, and kills the predator. Prey populations can be influenced in a positive manner by removing diseased individuals, removing weak and even old individuals from the population of the prey. So there's different ways to think of predation than just benefiting the predator, at the expense of the prey. The predator-prey association on the screen is 2 lions consuming a Cape buffalo. And certainly that is positive for the predator and negative for the prey. Another type of predatory interaction is herbivory, where the predator is an animal like these deer and the prey is a plant. You can think of herbivory actually stimulating growth of plants and even production of flowers and seeds. So it's possible that prey plants are actually, they benefit from herbivory. You might think of an animal eating a plant and the plant containing some poison or toxin. It maybe makes the herbivore sick or might even kill it. So it might be possible that herbivory can sometimes not benefit the herbivore, but it could benefit the plant or the prey. So there's other ways of thinking of herbivory than just benefiting the predator and being negative for the prey. Parasitism is another type of predatory interaction in a way. If you think of the parasite benefiting at the expense of the host. So in this regard, the parasite is somewhat predatory on a host. Pathogens such as bacteria and viruses are parasitic in nature. They have a host in which they utilize, viruses utilize host for reproduction. If you think of the coronavirus, it's a parasitic virus. The mites that are on the harvester, the daddy longlegs, are facultative parasites in that they can remove some of the blood from the daddy longlegs, but then they can detach and survive on their own. That's facultative. An obligate parasite is something like a bacterium or a virus that can only live and reproduce when within the host. There are certain parasitic worms that are obligate parasites, and they cannot survive without being present inside the host organism. Okay. This particular chart shows you different types of positive and negative interactions. One being called a scavenging interaction, which I haven't mentioned, which is when the predator preys upon prey that's already dead. So a predator-prey or predation interaction is when the predator kills a living prey. Herbivory is a type of predation, and it's called grazing when the herbivore eats the entire plant and kills it, and it's called browsing when the herbivore just consumes a portion of the plant, like the slide with the deer eating leaves off a tree. Parasitism is called parasitoidism if the parasite actually kills the host or the prey, and it's called parasitism if the host or the prey remains alive. So predator-prey interactions are very common in the natural world, and they often lead to development of specific colors and warning colors, cryptic colors, camouflage, if you will, and even mimicry of one organism by another. So let's look at some of these different coloration patterns and some of these different types of mimicry that can form due to predator-prey interactions. Cryptic coloration is when one organism, it may be a predator, it may be prey, develops some sort of camouflage. such that it can hide from a predator or sneak up on prey easier. So this predatory flatfish can sneak up on prey easier by blending into its environment. You might also say that being small like this, that this flatfish could be camouflaged from a larger fish that might want to eat it. These plants here, you might see them, they're called living stones. They grow naturally in South Africa. They are camouflaged by looking like the rocks that they grow within. That provides a lot of camouflage from a tortoise that is common and likes to eat them. So, development of some form of camouflage, in this case cryptic coloration, or this type of camouflage in the penguin is called counter shading. The ventral surface is white, the dorsal surface is black. That provides camouflage on both surfaces. If you were to look above at the black surface, it would be hard to see, and if you were to look above and look at the white surface, it would be hard to see if the penguin was in the water. So counter shading provides camouflage with organisms that live in the water. Often these organisms are predators that have counter shading. Aposematic coloration is when one organism could be a prey, could be a predator, has very bright coloration, often shiny, and the main colors are yellow, black, and red, or even orange. So the yellow jacket, if you've ever been stung by one, you know how painful that is. Those are warning colors, the bands of yellow and black. The bright red of this poison arrow frog is a warning of poison or toxic danger, as is the red of the newt and the red and black of the lady beetle. So, warning coloration, saying I'm inedible, I'm dangerous, I'm toxic, I can sting you, I can hurt you. So, and lastly, mimicry. One organism that is harmless, the king snake or the hognose snake, mimics a predator that is harmful. The copperhead, which is a poisonous snake or venomous, and the coral snake that is also venomous. So that is one form of Batesian mimicry. A harmless snake mimics one that is venomous, and in the example to the right, this, and this. So these 5 insects are mimicking the yellow jacket like wasp that can sting very powerfully. So these insects are mimicking this one, and hopefully it gives an idea of, hey, leave me alone because I'm like the one that can sting and hurt you. Just like the king snake would be, hey, I'm just like the venomous coral snake. Don't try to harm me or I'll bite you and I can hurt you. So, Batesian mimicry, a harmless animal mimics one that can cause harm. Poison, painful sting, or something like that. That's called Batesian mimicry. Mullerian mimicry is primarily only been documented from butterflies. So one butterfly mimics another that does not taste very good, doesn't have a good edibility. So the monarch lives on plants called milkweeds, and the adult and also its caterpillar stage taste horrible to birds. So it's considered that this butterfly down below called the viceroy mimics it in a way to try to keep predators from eating it. And the same, that the similarity in coloration of these butterflies is due to them mimicking one another due to their bad taste.